Hey, my name is Jeremiah Grube. I'm the worship leader for Lifestyle Christianity and the Power and Love schools and conferences that we do month by month. And I had an amazing testimony that happened by making a CD called The Room. We were in Alabama doing a Power and Love conference, and my guitar player Mark Gross was going down to the bar to see the band that was playing. And we come to find out that the person that was playing was Will McFarland. Will McFarland was the guitar player for Bonnie Raitt for 6 years. We struck up this conversation and he says, hey, you know what, I'd love to give you a tour of all the studios in town. And we were like, oh man, this is great. And so Will took us to a studio that he does his recording at, and I sat down and I started to play. And all of a sudden the presence of God came into that room like I had never experienced before in my life. I just started to play on the piano, and God's presence came in that room and was just so tangible. It was amazing. And so while I was playing 10-15 minutes, the Lord said, you know what, you found your baby to make this CD on. I was like, oh my goodness. I'm like, all right, this is great. And I look over behind my shoulder and I see Mark Gross sliding down the wall under the presence of God. And I started to tear up. Mark was crying. I look over at Will, and he's just he's tearing up and crying as well. And the presence of God was so tangible in this room. And Will McFarland says, I want you to stay at my house and I'm going to help you produce this CD. So we come down and make the CD, and I'm in there playing the tracks and recording on the piano. And all of a sudden Will grabs his guitar and he goes into his studio part that he records at, and he starts to play along to the tracks that I just played, I just created. He ended up playing on 6 or 7 of the tracks with me, so it's a piano instrumental with acoustic guitar with it as well. And so it was just an amazing connection, an amazing testimony of God wanting to see a dream of mine come to pass. Hey, if you'd like to pick up the CD, please visit my website, www.lionofjudahroar.com, and you can pick up The Room on the website there, and iTunes as well, and Amazon.com. You can also pick it up digitally if you like to there. So thank you. God bless. We were in San Francisco, and this lady came up to me and she came running up to me. She ran to me and she says, Jeremiah, you have no idea how the CD's changed my life. I said, you know what, I don't. Share with me, please. And she says, I'm a first grade teacher, and it's September. And she was discouraged and she was distraught because there was a lot of kids in her classroom that were misbehaving and unruly and just not being respectful of the teacher. And she started to play the CD called The Room, and one of the worst kids that she was just so discouraged with came up to her and says, you know what, teacher? She goes, I don't know what you're playing, but every time you play that CD, something happens right here. These kids were starting to calm down. They were starting to be respectful of the teacher. They were saying that it took them about an hour to get their homework done. Well, when she started to play the CD, and over a course of a week or two, these kids were getting their homework done in 10, 15, 20 minutes, and they were just asking the teacher, hey, is there anything we can help with? Is there anything we can do? And so it just revolutionized what she was doing in the detention hall wings of all places. This truck driver came up to me and said, hey, you have no idea how the CD's changed my life. I said, you know what, I don't. Please tell me. He says, you know what, I'm a truck driver. My wife got this CD at a conference, and I started to play it in my cab as I go and make my deliveries. And he says, you have no idea what goes on in a truck driver's mind when you're on the road for 12, 14, 15 hours a day. He says, you know, you battle thoughts, you battle things that go on with your mind. And he says, I tangibly could feel the presence of God when I played the CD in my cab. And he says, I am always looking for things that are going to get me closer to God and encourage me and bring the presence of God everywhere that I go. He says, I was laying down in my cab, and the presence of God came in when I was playing it so much that I could barely get up to actually go make my delivery down in San Antonio, Texas, because I was so impacted by the presence of God that was happening inside my cab. He says, thank you, Jeremiah, for making this CD. He says, it's really helped me with me on the road. And so I've just been blown away by all the places that this CD has gone. It's being played in joy centers, in elementary school places, in preschools. It's actually, the other day, it was a funeral home of all places came and asked me if they could play it while people come in and grieve, and people come in and just mourn the loss of a family member or a friend. And it's now being played in doctors' offices, it's being played in funeral homes, it's being played all over the place. And I'm just blown away by what God's been doing with this CD. So if that testimony touched your heart or connected with you in some place, you can pick up The Room on iTunes or Amazon or my website, or anywhere that CDs are being sold. It's The Room by Jeremiah Grube, if you'd like to go check it out. So thanks, hope this blessed you, and have an amazing week. God bless.